Hello there. At the beginning of the movie at the University of Florida, swimmer Haley gets ready to compete in a race. She is a marvelous swimmer, but unfortunately she misses the best time. It brings back a memory of her losing a relay as a child and feeling bad, but her father Dave would continue to encourage her to keep up her hard work. After the event is over, Haley checks her phone and finds a missed call from her sister Beth, so she quickly calls back. Beth informs Hay about the impending Category 5 Hurricane Wendy that is about to strike Florida and expresses concern since she has not been able to get in contact with her father, considering he is still around the area. They have a slight argument since it appears that Haley took Dave's side in the divorce while Beth took their mother's side. Beth just asks that Haley get in touch with Dave. Haley starts to drive out of town as per evacuation notices, trying and failing to get in touch with Dave. The sky is already dark, and the rain and wind hit the poor cops trying to guide the traffic jam out of town. Haley runs into Beth's friend Wayne, who is attempting to direct traffic as the storm starts to hit the area. He shows her where to go to leave town safely, but instead, Haley turns around and drives down an illegal path to go to find Dave. Haley goes to Dave's condo to find his dog Sugar there. The rest of the place is empty. She finds her old trophies, and again, she has flashbacks of the days. Her dad used to be her coach, lamenting that they have grown distant since the divorce. Haley calls Beth to tell her she will check their old family home next, ignoring her request to stop thinking about the past. Haley heads out bringing Sugar with her as they drive downtown. They notice that the streets have started to fill up with water when they get to the house. Haley notices her dad's car is outside, confirming he must be there. She immediately looks all over the house in the backyard, but she cannot find him. Next, she calls Dave's phone only to find it in the kitchen, where Harley gets startled by a tree breaking through the window. Suddenly, Sugar starts barking and Haley follows it to find her at the basement door. While the scared Sugar stays upstairs, Haley goes down and begins crawling around, hearing weird noises. As she advances further in, she begins hearing a radio, and following the noise takes her to find blood on the pipes. Deep inside, Haley finally finds Dave, who is unconscious with a badly broken leg after making sure he is alive. Haley also discovers he has a bad wound on his shoulder. It is difficult to move the body, so she brings over a big plastic bag and pushes the body on top of it to try to pull him upstairs. However, as soon as they get close to the stairs, an alligator jumps in front of her, having entered the house through the drain pipe. Thanks to the rising water, the animal tries to attack them. But a terrified Haley immediately pulls Dave to safety by hiding behind pipes that leave no room for the beast. The alligator steps back, but stays nearby, waiting for them to move while the storm gets worse outside. Haley manages to wake Dave up and uses her jacket to pick some rainwater for her father to drink. Dave wants Haley to leave without him, but Haley refuses. Dave explains he broke his leg when he got tangled up in the pipes as he tried to escape from the alligator. At that moment, Haley hears her phone and realizes it fell on the other side of the pipes during the struggle. She wants to retrieve it, so Dave teaches her that alligators can see in the dark but can't hear her outside the water. As she carefully sneaks around, Dave keeps talking to her so she won't lose his spot, and when she tells him about her latest defeat, Dave reminds her. She always manages to come through. In the end, always keeping an eye on the alligator. Haley manages to reach the phone, but as soon as she dials 911, she is startled by a second alligator appearing behind her. Haley immediately rushes back and accidentally drops her phone, which ends with a beast walking on it and destroying it. Then one of the alligators bites Haley's leg, but after some struggle, Haley kicks the alligator's head and escapes. Then she begins using whatever object she can find around, managing to put an old cage over an alligator's head and blinding the other one with a screwdriver. Afterward, Haley hides in another spot behind pipes, but at that moment, she hears her dad talk. She wants to go to him, but the alligator is waiting for her on the other side while they hear Sugar barking. Upstairs, both father and daughter take care of their wounds. Haley ties an elastic from her pants around the bite on her knee, and Dave ties a wrench around his broken leg. With his tool belt, he also finds a shovel that he begins using as a crutch to move around outside. The storm keeps getting worse, and the water levels in the basement quickly rise. When Dave confirms the alligators aren't nearby, Haley approaches the window and notices that there are people at the gas station across the street. Marvin and Lee have stolen the ATM and are pushing it on their boat while their friend Stan raids the store for food. Haley yells at them and flashes her flashlight, getting Marv's attention, ignoring Lee's warnings. Marv begins walking toward the house, but he suddenly hears a noise and turns around to find an alligator jumping on the boat and devouring Lee inside the store. Stan also hears the noises, and when he looks out, he finds Marv hitting the door, as he is also eaten by the beast. Soon, the alligator enters the store, and Stan becomes a meal too. Then Dave suggests that since the alligators are protecting the stairs, their only way out is the other access hatch by the entrance of the house. Very carefully, Haley moves through the rising water and reaches the hatch only for a bunch of spiders to fall on her. After brushing them away, she tries to push the hatch open, but it is blocked by some furniture on the other side. As they realize they're out of options, the duo hears a noise and discovers Wayne and his co-worker Pete are coming by on a boat to check for people who may have been left behind. Wayne goes inside while Pete stays on the boat, noticing that the turbine is caught in seaweed. When he leaves the boat to fix it, an alligator surprises him from behind and catches him. Then a bunch of alligators joins the attack to defeat on him back to Wayne. He enters the house and can't seem to find anyone. No matter how hard Dave hits the pipes with his shovel, Haley realizes Wayne is moving toward the basement stairs and tries to warn him not to come down. But as soon as Wayne peeks inside, the alligator catches him and drags him into the water. Haley approaches the beast to try to help Wayne, but the alligator takes him away to eat. In private, the second alligator hears Haley and comes after her. So she quickly swims away and reunites with her father behind the pipes, thinking they will die. Right there, Haley begins to cry and admits she blames herself for her parents' divorce, thinking that she made Dave turn his priorities toward her in swimming. Dave assures her that none of it is her fault, and that it was the sisters' love who kept their parents together until they both moved down. Dave encourages Haley to keep pushing forward, because she has always been a stubborn fighter that never gives up. Afterward, Dave makes a plan. He will distract the alligators by hitting the pipes with a brick, because they seem to hate it last time, and Haley will swim toward the stairs. The idea works, and the alligator is so desperately trying to reach Dave on the other side of the pipes that it doesn't see. Haley swim by. Dave confronts the beast, and after lots of struggle, he hits it with the shovel over and over until he smashes its head to death while Sugar keeps on barking on top of the stairs. Haley moves around carefully, yet she accidentally hits a box on the ground, getting the attention of the second alligator. Haley hears it too, and quickly hides, deciding to go for the drain pipe instead of the stairs, even if Dave thinks it is too dangerous. As she moves further in, she's disgusted to find Wayne's body in a bunch of eggshells. This is the mother's nest, and Wayne was used as food for the baby alligators. At that moment, the mother alligator starts swimming in Haley's direction. Thus, Haley approaches W's body and takes his gun. At that moment, the alligator jumps out of the water and bites her armed hand. So Haley shoots repeatedly until the animal is finally dead. Unfortunately, the bullets also run out while the basement keeps on flooding, and Dave struggles to find a spot where he can breathe. Haley swims through the drain pipe and finds another alligator swimming at the other end. She tries to be careful as she swims around it, but the alligator hears her anyway and goes after her. Luckily, Haley is a very fast swimmer and manages to reach the ground before the alligator closes its jaws at her feet in her childhood backyard. Haley notices helicopters flying by, but they don't see her and go away. Next, Haley uses a garden chair to break the back door and enters the house. As Dave finally loses consciousness over the lack of air, Haley uses a crowbar to break the wooden floor, discovering the basement is fully flooded now. Then Haley pulls Dave out and begins using CPR to bring him back. For a moment, she thinks she lost him, but thankfully, he wakes up. The duo goes outside and is devastated to find the streets flooded too. So running in cars are not an option. Dave notices. The boat is still in front of the store across the street, so they must approach it very carefully without creating splashes that will alert the alligators, hoping the rain will provide cover with Sugar in Dave's arms. The duo walks very slowly in the water, always keeping an eye on the swimming beasts. Suddenly, the rain stops falling and they realize they are in the eye of the hurricane. At that moment, an alligator swims too close to them, and they must freeze on the spot. But also an alarm begins wailing and they know they don't have much time left. Haley decides to use her swimming skills to try to reach the boat. The alligators come after her, but she's a faster swimmer and jumps on the boat right before she gets bitten. Then Haley drives the boat toward her dad, who climbs in with Sugar. But at that moment, a giant wave hits the area and pushes the boat back into the house. The group falls into the water and tries to reach for each other, but the strong current pushes Dave away. As Dave manages to stop by holding on to some floating things, he yells he will meet Haley at the stairs while she swims into the kitchen and climbs the counter. Noticing some movement in the water, Haley throws something into test for alligators. No beast comes out, so Haley tries jumping on the table, but the leg immediately breaks. Next, she tries to hold on to the ceiling light, but it also breaks and causes Haley to fall into the water. Haley quickly swims away and manages to climb on some other furniture, where she discovers there is a functioning radio floating around. She climbs onto the turnboat and manages to reach the radio, using it to send a message with her address. Meanwhile, Dave reaches the stairs and finds an old box of his where he had hidden a bunch of flares. He lights one up and illuminates the quarter so Sugar can swim toward him, allowing them to reunite. However, while Dave is distracted by his dog, an alligator jumps out and bites his arm, dragging him into the water. Dave struggles against it, but the alligator breaks his arm. At that moment, Haley shows up, and the alligator chooses to chase her. Instead, while Dave ties up his broken arm, Haley quickly swims into the bathroom and hides behind the shower door. This gives her an idea. She opens. The door lets the alligator inside, then jumps over the door and closes it again, leaving the beast trapped. Afterward, Haley joins Dave on the stairs and helps him climb up, as the water levels keep rising inside the house. They open the attic door, and while Dave goes up with Sugar, Haley notices a helicopter flying by, so she approaches the window with a flare. Unfortunately, the water level is too high now, and they aren't seen suddenly. An alligator breaks through the window, and the water floods in to block the door. The beast bites Haley's shoulder and drags her underwater, but Haley concentrates on her childhood memories and reaches for the flare to burn the animal to death. Then Haley swims through the window and reaches the roof from outside. She holds on to the drain as another alligator tries to attack her, but thankfully, the debris and the current push the beast away. Haley is about to lose her hold, but at that moment, Dave makes it to the roof and grabs her, dragging her with him to safety. Suddenly, Sugar starts barking at a helicopter, and Haley immediately lets another flare. The rescuers this time do see them, and finally, come to pick them up. Thank you for watching. If you liked the summary, support us with admiration, and subscribe to the channel to receive everything new.